So this video is a response to Yumble's video entitled "Roundabouts are not, in capital letters, as good as you think. Full experiment and explanation," where Yumble compared having 4 roads coming together with traffic lights in the middle, lots of traffic coming through them, to a roundabout. And he tried a couple of different versions of a very simple and basic roundabout, and as the title suggests, came to the conclusion that roundabouts are not as good as you think compared to traffic lights in this situation. And I watched that video, very good. I always enjoy Yumble's videos. Check out Yumble's channel. Leave a like on the video as well and put your comments whether you think Yumble is right or not. But what we're going to do is run my own experiment. I've downloaded the same map. So here we are. This is the Interchange Test Map, and you can see it's been set up with all these different outside connections, 8 of them coming through an interchange here and then leading to the center. Now what we need to do is set this map up in the same way that Yumble did, so we know what we're doing. So I'm going to mark this as the north. There we go, just so we know which is the top of the map in our test. And then I'm going to set this map up in the same way, because without removing some of these roads, what will happen is the cars will all just go around this humongous ring road. So let me just delete some of these roads. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to use the 4 cardinal directions, and I've deleted groups of roads here. So what we've got is these 2 roads coming in from the edge of the map, and these 2 intersections using south. We've got these 2 using west, these 2 using north, and these 2 using east. Excellent. So let me just get these roads nice and close together, and let's do some testing with some roundabouts. Okay, so Yumble used a 3-lane asymmetric road with 4 lanes coming in. I'm going to do 3-lane and 3-lane because that's what we've got coming down the highway. We're going to do a bit of Hugo there to make sure everybody has a lane each, and that will come directly down to our center point. So I'll do that for the northeast, south and west. We're also going to turn off traffic despawning as well. Okay, so while we're waiting for our traffic to build up in the background, I'm just going to jump into my traffic manager settings. So to set this up the same as Yumble, we had this one set on low, under gameplay, disable despawning as we already saw, and advanced AI set to 20%. Now I will come back to these traffic manager settings once we get into building our roundabouts. So this is what things are looking like very, very quickly. This is just the standard default traffic light that comes with the game when you put when you put junctions together like this. What I would do, even just to improve this, is, let's just zoom out a moment. We'll pause the game there. So again, we'll copy Yumble's steps. He decided to put in a timed traffic light. You can do a quick setup, control left click like that. Yumble changed the timings. I'm just going to leave them at default for now. And then I'm also going to take our lane arrows, because if we just sort of get the game going, a couple of cars are going to disappear because you made changes. We do have lane arrows that are being used for more than one thing. Or has it automatically been changed because of the traffic lights? No, it's automatically been changed because of the traffic lights. Before we did that, we had the middle lane doing left and straight on and right and all sorts of weird and wacky things. So now we've got just the default bog standard time traffic light and dedicated turning lanes. Let's just see what a difference that makes. I'll just run this for a minute or 2. Now things are moving, but as you can see, they are backing up horrendously. Why don't we just adjust these traffic lights as Yumble did? So if we come into here, click on there, we'll just pause the game for a moment, stop the lights, and I'm just going to change these steps here to 15 and 25, and we'll save that, and we'll do that on each step. There we go. Excellent. We'll start that up again, which is good. And then also what I would do is I would just add in some lane connectors. So the node just before the traffic lights, I would say you go through, don't switch lanes there. And I will do that on each side because those nodes are quite close. You could even remove them if you want. I might even, because the traffic is so bad, just go another one back. I mean, just bear in mind, this isn't realistic for a city. This is a setup for testing intersections. Okay, so there we go. Let's just zoom out a bit so we can see what's going on, and maybe just keep an eye on this slightly tweaked setup for a moment. Okay, so, you know, things are moving, things are working okay. Bear in mind, I don't have the same 4-3 asymmetrical road that Yumble used, so this isn't going to be exactly the same. But really, we're here to see how we can make the roundabout set up better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the roundabout builder here. We'll put it as a 2-lane road. Yumble set this as 7U. I think that is going to be correct. Let's just pop that in there. Okay, yep, that looks about right to me. Now, the reason I wasn't using the asymmetrical roads is because one of the, I say rules, it's just something that I do myself that I think works very well, is for every lane that you've got coming in, I would normally have one more lane on the roundabout. And I tend not to go above 3 lanes because the AI in the game tends to struggle with that, but we'll see what we can do. So we've got 3 lanes coming in, which means we can put on here, if we wish, a standard 3-lane road like this, and at least we've got an equal amount. So let's go with that first of all. There we go. So 3 lanes coming in, and then we can do the standard traffic manager setup. We'll use priority signs, Control Shift left click. There we go. So what we've got here is we've got giveaway signs coming in on each of the connections. We've then got no lane switching on these nodes in the middle. They will pick their lane as they come in, and then every time they come to one of the 4 cardinal directions, they will change lanes if they need to. So keeping everything else equal, there should be no traffic lights or anything like that. No, let's just get that going as it is and see how that works. It's probably going to take a few seconds to get going, but let's just watch that for a moment. So here we go. Did you just see that little problem up the top here? I'm just going to slow this down. Let's put it on medium speed. You might see it a few times. So cars coming on should give way to cars going round, but every now and again, if we look down here, they force their way out. Here we go. Look, perfect example. They're forcing their way out before the trucks have gone round. And that can be a big issue. That can make the roundabout not as effective as it could be. And what could be causing that? Well, as far as I'm aware, it is the level that you have your AI set in Traffic Manager. So why don't we just adjust that ever so slightly in our game settings? So we go into Traffic Manager. Here we go. So generally speaking, I normally have my cities on medium, and I would also have my AI on at least 70. And we hover over that. There we go, 70%. So I put this in a comment in Yumble's video, so that would be a change worth doing. So why don't we just, again, keep an eye on this. We can see some of them trying to do it still, and see whether that makes enough of a difference. Now, I'm not expecting that change alone to make roundabout suddenly the most amazing thing since sliced bread, but I'm expecting that to help with traffic not budging out when it shouldn't as much. Definitely already it's looking better. I'm sort of looking at the 4 different directions and I can't see them budging out, certainly in huge amounts, as much as they were before. We're going to have a lot of traffic backing up because it's going to take a while to go down. But I tell you what I'm going to do is, Yumble did a straight comparison of these 4 roads coming into each other, traffic lights set up really well, worked really well, and then put a roundabout in. He had 1 more lane on it. I'm having 1 less lane, so you might sort of think, well, that should be harder. But we're going to make this work. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know. This is I'm recording this as you're seeing it, you know. So I'm going into this with my preconceptions, and I'm doing some testing, the same that Yumble did, and we'll see what happens. So on an intersection like this, you would never put a roundabout. This would not work. You're basically taking a huge amount of traffic coming in from 4 highways coming into an area, and you would just not put a roundabout into a place like this. You would have a proper intersection, something like this, you know, or better, to keep this traffic going. But let's see if we can make this work any better. So certainly, I've spoken about this in quite a few of my videos, when you're coming into a roundabout like this, to go from this position facing into the roundabout to actually moving on the roundabout is a very sharp right-hand turn. So there we go. That tractor finally made it out. He picked his lane and off he went. That is a very slow way of getting out onto a roundabout. What I would certainly do is not set it up like that. Is I would set up an entrance to a roundabout like this. Okay, here we go. So you can see the difference to the entrance to the roundabout. Instead of it being a 90-degree turn, as we can see on our right-hand entrance here, it is now a more angled turn. So it's quicker and easier for these cars to get out, to speed up, and to head off where they are going. Now, just to set that up, just to help you, to show you how to do that, we of course are using mods. So I added in an extra node just about here. I'm eyeballing it between these two nodes here. I then deleted these roads. I've used the picker mod to pick this road, and I've drawn out here, was it 10 or was it 5? I can't remember. 800. So yes, that was a complete 10 all the way out, and I've made sure that there is a node in there. And we can delete all of this, and then we just want to connect those up. So I just used the highway road here, and I've turned off toggle road bending, so we can go into the roundabout and out of the roundabout. And then for this little junction here, this little node, we're going to use our lane connectors. Here you go there. So they just go straight through each direction. And then also we're going to make sure they don't stop in there by using this option and this option, so they go straight through. And then we double check the roundabout with our priority signs, Control Shift left click, and we get all of our giveaway signs and such. So let me just do that on all 4 sides. There we go, that's set up all the way around. That's left us with a lot of extra nodes on this roundabout. So just because it's the way that I'm building it, I am going to remove some of these extra nodes. We really only want them where these roads are joining. So I'm going to remove these other ones in here. There we go. We've got an extra 1 or 2 tucked away in the middle here. And that should be it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nodes. Yep, excellent. And then you just want to do a final check. Control Shift left click, that your roundabout is all set up as it should be, which to me it looks like it is. Okay, so let's run that for a few moments and see how that goes. In fact, as we've made such a big change, and Yumble did this in the video as well, is I'm going to clear all the traffic. There we go. We'll get a level playing field, and we'll just let that run and wait for all the cars to come in. Okay, so things are moving reasonably well. Let's just zoom out a bit and take a look. And oh my giddy aunt. Yeah, there is a lot of traffic. There is a lot of traffic. Over here isn't too bad. This is a bit further down. For some reason, up here is pretty rough, and up there is pretty rough as well. So there is another downside to using a roundabout as compared to a traffic light in this extremely heavy situation where a roundabout certainly would not be the choice. This is basically 4 highways all meeting in one space. And that is space. You could fit, as we saw before, a traffic light in this little spot here. We are taking up more and more space with this roundabout. So yeah, that is something else to take into consideration. So I'm now going to make one more change to my setup. As I mentioned before, something I always say with a roundabout is to make sure that you've got one more lane on your roundabout than the lanes coming in. That is just something that I've always done. I haven't sort of tested it, so I'm going to do a test now. We've got 3 lanes coming in. Let's just pause our game, and we are going to upgrade our roundabout to 4 lanes. Now, I never go to 4-lane roundabouts. I think the game struggles with pathfinding and I don't know quite what AI type stuff when we get to more than 3 lanes on a roundabout, but let's give it a try. I just want to make sure that this is all still set up. There we go. So let's just leave that running for a few moments and see how that goes. What's interesting as I'm watching this, we seem to have a directional bias as to the way the traffic is working. It's odd. I've never sort of watched it like this. So down here, they always go into these 2 lanes, and they will use this lane here because they're working their way out, mostly to go over here. Some are going back again. Very rarely am I seeing anybody from these directions use the inside lane, that extra sort of 4th lane perhaps that we've added. I mean, you know, I might be wrong sometimes, but it just seems... Oh, there we go. That one did it there, and he came from up here. Very, very strange the way the traffic and the AI works in this game. Of course, we've added to the normal game, haven't we, with mods as well, which does affect the traffic. But yeah, very interesting experiment, I have to say. So just for the sake of the experiment, even though I would never do this under these circumstances with what are basically 4 highways worth of traffic merging into this center point here, I am going to downgrade this roundabout to 3 lanes. And then because of Biffa's made up rules that I always seem to use, and they should work, they sound like they should, let's just do a test. We are then going to make sure we've got 1 less lane coming onto the roundabout, or let me just phrase that a different way. 1 more lane on the roundabout than there is lanes coming in. So that means these need to go down to 2 lanes instead of 3. And then that means that these roads that are connecting onto here need to be 4-lane roads instead of 6-lane roads as we've got here. So that means I need to go through and adjust all of these. And that then means at the ends here, we're going to have to make a little tweak as well. So yeah, I don't want that to be the tweak. What I would like the tweak to be is for you not to go there. It's going to cause a little bit of traffic maybe at the end, but that doesn't really matter, and you've got that extra lane for leaving. So let me do that on all these different roads coming in. Okay, there we go. So what do we see? Well, we see the roundabout is functioning well as a roundabout. Just here, you know, the cars are coming on, they're moving around, but of course the traffic will start backing up over time. Yeah. So what have we actually learned from those tests? Well, what we've actually learned, in my humble opinion, is not that roundabouts aren't as good as you think they are. Actually, no. As I've said that, unless you think the roundabout is the solution to every traffic problem, if you think that, you are wrong. Roundabouts are not as good as you think they are. But if you can just apply some extra thought to it and think, well, actually, there are certain circumstances where a roundabout is good, and there are certain circumstances where a roundabout isn't as good, where it shouldn't be used. And this is one of those circumstances where a roundabout should not be used. You shouldn't bring in 4 highways like this into a roundabout. You should have a much better intersection in the middle here. Maybe something like this. Here we go. Something much more practical, perhaps you could say. Certainly not space saving, but what I would expect to see if you've got 4 highways worth of traffic coming into one spot. A little bit of lane mathematics on the entrance and the exits on each of the 4 directions, but it's keeping up with the traffic, no problem at all. And you know what? It actually looks a little bit like a roundabout. Haha. So it does. But if you zoom out, it's not backing up at all. Nothing is going to phase this thing. This is going to work absolutely fantastically. So the other question is, should you put a traffic light in this situation? Well, again, in my opinion, I would say no. If you check out Yumble's video and see how far back the traffic backs up, even though I would say maybe 95, 98% of what queues up at each light change gets through on a change, it does back up so far that actually in a working city, that would also be a complete disaster. So a roundabout or a traffic light in this situation, no, as you've seen, something like this works much, much better. So can I suggest that you go over to Yumble's channel, check out his video on this subject, be sure to leave a like on it and a comment letting us both know what you think about our experiments. And also while you're there, please give Yumble a subscription. I absolutely love his videos. He does lots of different tests like this, experiments with the game engine and different intersections, which I really enjoy watching, plus a city build as well. So let's see if we can push him up, give him a few lovely subscribers over there. Thank you for watching this experimental video. If you want to see more of these, leave a like on this video. If we get enough likes, we might do some more. I will leave that up to you. Have a fantastic day. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.